Ladies and gentlemen, he is back. That is right. Derrick White re-signs on a contract extension in day 2 of free agency, and the fan favorite is here to stay long term, taking that pay cut. Credit to Brad Stevens for staying true to his word and keeping all three players, and the Celtics will be pushing for banner 19 with Derrick White locked up long term. Let's go, baby. How we doing, Celtics fans? I'm Bruce Velez. Welcome back to another episode of Celtics Digest. As you guys heard, we've got some exciting news to break down in this episode. Make sure to hit that like button if you guys have been absolutely crushing it. If you want to make sure you stay up to the news ASAP, hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's dive into the news at hand. Make sure to grab a snipe, and Derrick White is back, baby. Woo! Let's go! The fan favorite, the guy who doubted all the odds this year, proving all his haters wrong, calling him a glorified role player, showing him he can be a star in this league, is here to stay in Boston for the long term. Looking at this, we see from Adrian Wojnarowski that Boston Celtics guard Derrick White has agreed on a 4-year, $125 million contract extension to remain with the Boston Celtics. That's right. This man took that pay cut and is staying with this squad. Let's get it. After seeing all these guards get that big time payday, the Celtics were praying that Derrick White would stay. And even though fans knew he was going to stay, he was basically confirming that he wanted to be in Boston, wanted to be here long term. Brad Stevens' main goal of this offseason was making sure to retain Derrick White, and he did so. And why he needs to retain Derrick White is because he is one of the best two-way guards in this league that we have in the entire NBA. He was snubbed of all NBA first team, snubbed of making an all-star team, and snubbed for making the all 100 list at the beginning of the year. And he doubted everybody and proved them all wrong. Having numbers to be an all-star, getting the recognition from greats like Reggie Miller, even though his name wasn't that high, his offense and defense pressure was fantastic. Let's look at Derrick White's stats from the season this year. 15 points, 4.2 rebounds, 5.2 assists, while averaging at least a block and a steal per game, shooting 46% from the field and 40% from three, while also shooting 42% on his corner threes. We saw Derrick White turn up for this Boston Celtics team on multiple occasions, either on offense or on defense. I can tell you one game in general, January versus New Orleans, where Derrick White heat up and hit 6 threes in the fourth quarter to win the Celtics that game, turning up offensively. And also, if you really remember, game 2 of the NBA Finals, where he turned up, but also got those big blocks on the other end with alongside Jaylen Brown to help out on this squad defensively. We've seen Derrick White win games for the Celtics on both sides of the floor, being an impactful piece, and he really rose to that stardom this year once Marcus Smart was traded. He knew he was going to have to be that starting guard before Jrue Holiday came in. Even though Jrue Holiday did come here, he still took on some of that pressure and still realized that I need to be a tough guard. I need to take a bigger leap for this Celtics team to improve my stock and to make this team a championship contender. And he did that, putting all that hard work and effort in the offseason. I'm absolutely ecstatic that the Boston Celtics got this deal. I know my grandma is freaking out at this very moment that Derrick White, I'm going to text her right after I record this video, due to the fact that she knows that Derrick White is here for the long term. Derrick White is her favorite player. She rocks Derrick White. Shout out to my grandma for supporting the Boston Celtics and supporting Derrick White. And if you want to be one of those supporters, supporting the Celtics and supporting Celtics Digest, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tune into the streams that we'll be doing weekly starting like we did last week. We'll be having another one this week as well. Check the announcements on the community page. That gets into the next part on what this means for the Boston Celtics. As we already know, we are a second apron team, and if we want to look at the salary cap here, courtesy of Spot Track, obviously Derrick White's contract is not adjusted at this very moment. But we have Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porziņģis, and Derrick White, the starting five, all locked up. Jayson Tatum still has to sign his contract extension, and those contract details have been revealed to the public. Obviously, 5 years, $315 million. We'll have to wait to see when Jayson Tatum does put the ink to the paper. But once that contract gets extended as well, we'll have another video breaking that down. Now, when you look at the bench, Horford coming back, Pritchard coming back, Springer's team option was picked up when they officially traded for him in February, so he is back. Kada and Luke Cornett were both signed as those backup big replacements. If you missed that video yesterday, go check that out. And obviously, Jordan Walsh being there as well. Sam Hauser's team option was picked up before free agency started. The Celtics are looking to do an extension with him long term, similar to that Peyton Pritchard contract. And we'll also have some more news breaking down if once that gets officially released on the contract details of that. You do notice that there is one player missing from the list, and that is Baylor Scheierman. Obviously, he will be having a regular contract with the Celtics team, but at this very moment, the Celtics have 2 open roster spots. Now, as something I would like to mention that one of my viewers brought up to me is that Brad Stevens, even though he does have 2 open roster spots, doesn't really utilize the 15th roster spot until halfway through the season. Usually leaves it open, usually tries to use it for a buyout guy, possibly for a trade. So don't be shocked if the Boston Celtics do leave that roster spot open and start the roster with only 14 roster spots. But I would not be shocked if they also dive in and get those 2 guys and then possibly maybe look to make a trade in the future throughout the season. Ultimately, though, whatever the Boston Celtics do, they do have Xavier Tillman, Oshae Brissett, and Svi Mykhailiuk that are remaining free agents that are not re-signed. And regardless of the fact, if they were even to try to attempt to bring all those guys back, they would only be able to bring back 2. So as of this moment, we all know that at least one Boston Celtics won't be coming back. And we'll have updates regarding on that as well, regardless of Tillman doesn't come back, if Brissett doesn't come back, if Mykhailiuk doesn't come back, we'll have updates and videos detailing you to where they went as well. But like I mentioned, Celtics are that second apron team. They do have this, kind of off-season chart here for you guys to kind of get a bit of a better explanatory. But Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, and Porziņģis are all coming back. All of them are on long-term extensions besides Jayson Tatum. But as we all know, he's our superstar player, and since his contract is already mapped out, he will be here. So like I mentioned, the starting 5 for the Boston Celtics will be at least locked up for at least this year and for next year. The Celtics have that chance to make a push for banner 19 and for banner 20. When looking at this bench, you have Pritchard, Springer, Scheierman, Hauser, Walsh, Horford, Kornet, and now Queta added to that list. Anton Watson taking the 2-way. We'll have to see what the Celtics do with their remaining 2-way offers. We'll see if Drew Peterson gets one of them. We'll see if another player and somebody else gets one of those picked up. But if the Celtics were to make any additions, it is going to be through the veteran minimum exception. Therefore, if Brissett or Tillman or Mykhailiuk want to come back, they're going to have to come on that veteran minimum exception. Therefore, that's why they've kind of tested free agency to try to see where their options are, because if they can get more money or can get a bigger role somewhere else, I would expect them to take it. That's why I think Luke Kornet and Neemias Queta were the kind of first 2 initial signings. They wanted to bring those guys back. They knew they could work out some smaller contracts to get those guys secured and locked up. Maybe Tillman and Brissett are on their way somewhere else. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are your guys' thoughts initially of the Celtics free agency? And what are your guys' thoughts on the Derrick White extension? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts because I'm absolutely ecstatic. I think that this was a necessary piece for the Celtics' success. You could not let Derrick White enter free agency due to the fact that other guards like Quickly and that were getting bigger contracts in free agency. Derrick White taking this pay cut is an absolute steal for the Boston Celtics. But as you guys know, you got to get to the comment of the day. Drop down your thoughts, drop down your feelings down below, and you could be featured in today's comment of the day. But today's comment of the day goes out to our guy CVV God 1432. Shout out to you, my guy. He says it is not broken. Don't fix it. Kornet and Queta was good the whole last season when they got minutes. Kornet is a solid big man. I don't get nervous when he comes in the games. And I got to agree with you, CVV God. I think you're speaking facts. I think the Celtics did a smart decision. Ultimately, I thought they were going to look at Tillman and Queta due to the fact that I thought Queta and Kornet kind of played a similar role. But I do feel that Queta and Kornet were the 2 guys that were willing to come back on team-friendly contracts and were willing to, kind of work and experiment for their role. Where possibly Tillman and Brissett, some newer guys that kind of just came in last season, might want to experiment and go out to get a bigger role or to try to make some more money, which makes more sense. But I do think that Kornet and Queta coming back was key, especially with Porziņģis being out, possibly November, December, maybe even to All-Star break. Celtics are going to need some key veteran role-playing minutes at that center position with alongside Al Horford. And having Kornet and having Queta, I think, is key for the Celtics development, especially if Queta can show some nice development in the summer league and in practices as well. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Let me know how you guys feel about this Boston Celtics team making these moves in free agency. If you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this team, even the small moves, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We have everything covered for you here over on Celtics Digest. Like I mentioned, weekly streams will be starting up. We're going to be doing them Wednesday this week. So see you Wednesday, 7 p.m. We'll have a little bit more of a free agency breakdown live stream. Catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day and go Boston Celtics.